partly due to the fact that the P30
Hello to another interesting episode of your program Infrastructure Weekly. I am your regular anchor, Hajibola Omuchikwa. In today's episode of the program, we'll be taking you around project site as is our practice. We'll also be going to the commissioning of projects in Anambra and Lagos states. Join us after this break for more on the program. Stay tuned.
coming together of opportunities. And this is what
infrastructure is the backbone of development, which explains the Buhari government's effort at bridging the facility gap. Infrastructure Weekly is a television package designed to bring you latest information on hundreds of development projects going on in various sectors all over the nation.
there is no state in Nigeria today where you will not see our contractors busy at work.
Power generation, rural electrification, road rehabilitations, national housing scheme, construction of roads and rail lines across the country, you name it.
We are now able to produce 7,000 megawatt of power. That is no longer debatable.
Infrastructure Weekly is Nigerians working together for a better Nigeria. So be better informed to take better informed decisions. Watch Infrastructure Weekly, showing on Channels Television Thursdays 2:30 p.m., NTA Network Wednesdays 5 p.m., and QoTV News Fridays at 8 p.m. Infrastructure Weekly, making development known.
We are going partly due to the fact that the P30
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to the development of the nation's road network with the signing of the executive order on roads development. President Muhammadu Buhari, who signed the order in Abuja, said it is another step taken to address the nation's infrastructure deficits.
The new order on the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Program is a scheme designed to open opportunities for investors who may want to finance infrastructure development with tax credit as part of incentives. By this order, investors are expected to enjoy tax reduction from the income tax of the company.
The purpose for which we are here today is on the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme. This is an outcome of our efforts to think outside of the box and to deploy new techniques to develop critical road infrastructure. This scheme will incentivize private sector investors in Nigeria to invest in roads across key economic corridors and industrial clusters, thereby relieving the government of the burden of funding the initial outlays for these investments. Particularly, investors will use tax credits to reduce corporate taxes payable to government until they recoup the value of their investments in roads and bridges. Essentially, this scheme will utilize tax expenditure refundable by the way of tax credits to finance the construction of critical road infrastructure through a public-private partnership mechanism.
The scheme is seen as a bold step by the government to meet its infrastructure need through more innovative techniques. President Muhammadu Buhari says it is a demonstration of his administration's commitment to bridging infrastructure gap.
Today's event marks another milestone in challenging the narrative that has dogged past efforts of developing critical road infrastructure nationwide. Pursuant to the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme, 19 eligible road projects are to be undertaken by 6 leading manufacturing and construction firms located in 11 states and in each of the 6 geopolitical zones.
6 companies have been selected, including Dangote Group of Companies, Lafarge, Unilever, Flowmase, Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas, and China Road and Bridges Construction Company, CRBC, for the pilot scheme. They will undertake the financing of 16 eligible road projects across 11 states.
Of particular concern is the state of the nation's road infrastructure, which drives up the cost of business, hampers industrialization, and the development of the manufacturing sector. The Industrial Council has a mandate from Your Excellency to increase the contribution of manufacturing sector to GDP by 250% over a 5-year period. And I think we started in 2017. Today we stand here to witness the creation of a framework that can help resolve constraints to evacuation of goods from our factories and to easing our supply routes into Nigerian markets created by the deplorable state of our nation's road infrastructure.
It is believed that this initiative will help save billions of naira which has been lost as a result of poor road infrastructure. From the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Ayobami Pashe, reporting for Core 2 News.
We are going to work to ensure that
Still on the road sector, the federal government has promised to deliver the 22-kilometer Efun-Alaye-Iwaraja road linking both Osun and Ekiti states within the next 3 months. Federal Controller of Works in Ekiti State, Ishaq Lawal, while speaking to Infrastructure Weekly, said the road will be delivered to specification while also expressing satisfaction on the work done so far.
According to the Controller of Works in Ekiti State, Ishaq Lawal, the construction and rehabilitation of roads by the federal government was capital intensive, and the current administration would not deliver to the people poor quality jobs that are not executed to specification.
I really want to commend the effort of this present government on road infrastructure. What I can tell you is that, I want to tell the people generally in Ekiti State and Nigeria in general, that this project, by the grace of God, will soon be delivered. You heard when the project manager of the contractor was saying the other time that given all necessary support, within 2-3 months they can finish the project, because we have gone far. Okay. As you see on this particular road, only two key items of work are remaining. Okay. All the other scheduled items have been completed. They have completed all binder, all the road, all the pavement structures have been done. The sub-base, the base, the everything. Okay. Only what is outstanding, in fact, all the from beginning to the end, the base course has been completed 100%. The only outstanding is the wearing course, which we are doing now, okay, and the shoulder. In fact, as we speak now, they have done nothing less, about 50% of that wearing course has been realized now. So what I want to say is that the people of the Ekiti should just support us, that sooner than later this project will be delivered.
The site manager of Copec Construction Limited, one of the contractors handling the road projects, Majid Jaudi, promised that the Efun-Alaye-Iwaraja road would be delivered within the next 3 months as soon as government remobilized the company. He also pleaded for variation of the original contract sum, saying the construction company was currently battling with high costs of road construction materials such as asphalt and granite.
Depends of the adjustment of the money for the prices. When you adjust in and promise between 2 and 3 months, the job it will finish. Asphalt is the major one, and the surface dressing.
Okay. The prices are done?
Yes.
Asphalt.
And surface dressing.
And the
surface dressing.
Surface dressing.
Okay. All right. Then
After this one, when you will approve it, 2-3 months maximum, the job will be done.
Okay.
Okay. Please, we want the OGA help again, our controller, and we'll see what God can help us again.
Okay.
Some of the road users who spoke with our correspondent while driving across the roads commended President Muhammadu Buhari for living up to his electioneering campaign of addressing the then poor state of the Nigerian roads.
We're just making reference to the road that is quite amazing and it's nice. The message is for the federal government to continue the good work. We pray that God will continue to empower and strengthen our president.
The Federal Controller of Works in Ekiti State, Ishaq Lawal, also disclosed that more road constructions and rehabilitation has been ordered by the Buhari-led administration in the course of the year, as part of the administration's plans to make life more comfortable for road users and enhance commerce and economic development.
There are other interventions. The federal government, in their wisdom, has also awarded another contract. That is Ado Ekiti, Ifaki, Oton Kwara State border. The contract number is 6451. And it was awarded to Stable EPC. Stable EPC. And we have recently handed over the site to the contractor. Any moment from now, you will start seeing activities around that axis too. Then apart from that too, we have a recently awarded emergency repairs going on along Afewa Balola University Road. That is emergency repairs. Ado Ekiti, Ilu Omoba, Imesi, Ondo State Border Road.
The Federal Controller of Works in Ekiti State, Ishaq Lawal, also disclosed that more road constructions and rehabilitation has been ordered by the Buhari-led administration in the course of the year, as part of the administration's plans to make life more comfortable for road users and enhance commerce and economic development.
We are going to work to ensure that
The program is still Infrastructure Weekly, where we x-ray the activities of Muhammadu Buhari administration in the area of infrastructure developments. For comments, inquiries and feedback, get in touch with us on Facebook, and that's Infrastructure Weekly, and on Twitter, infra_weekly. Join us after this break for a look at the power sector. Stay tuned.
Dear lottery operator, you've done a remarkable job so far getting into a business that has been highly criticized for many years. You've done well to uphold your credibility and boost confidence in the business. Kudos to you. This is just to remind you of the rules of the game as prescribed by the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Gaming is not for persons under 18. Underage gaming is prohibited. Report illegal operators to the Commission, and also always remember the regulatory job of the Commission. Whatever your category, lotteries, sport betting, promos, scratch cards, games, it is the duty of the Commission to protect lottery players and the operators, as well as promote transparency and accountability. Licensees are also expected to play their part, which includes remittances to the National Lottery Trust Fund. For more information, please go to natlotteredcom.gov.ng. The National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Lottery, the right way.
We are going to work to ensure that
Thanks so much for staying tuned. For feedback, comments and inquiries, you can get in touch with us on any of the social media handles showing on your screen. And now moving on to the power sector. The federal government has disclosed that it will continue to work with stakeholders in the power sector to enhance safety and improve metering. The minister disclosed this while commissioning the new laboratory of the Nigerian Electricity Management Service Agency, NEMSA, in Lagos. Let's take a listen.
Safety issues have always been a challenge for the Nigerian electricity sector, with downtime experienced in power supply, also traced to non-adherence to standards of equipment. This necessitated the establishment of the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA, to address the gap. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, from the government, the laboratory of the agency in Lagos, said it is a show of commitment from the government. He added that the newly commissioned laboratory will aid in elevating standards within the power sector, both for equipment and personnel safety and standards.
So essentially, this is now an upgraded, properly fitted laboratory to help the agency in charge of enforcing safety compliance actually do its job. They now have the tools to do their job, and we hope that there will be improvement in all the operators' compliance conduct, and the agency, now having the tool, can enforce compliance and say you comply or you don't comply, and that should translate to a better service delivery down the entire value chain.
On the issue of metering, the minister said efforts are on to expand access for all Nigerians and relieve the burden of the electricity distribution companies.
A word on metering, very straightforward. We have a policy on metering, which is the meter asset provider policy, which allows new businesses to enter the metering area, just in the way that GENCOs were licensed, DISCOs were licensed. We are going to license them to as meter asset providers in the value chain of power supply. This will relieve the pressure, and I emphasize the word relieve the pressure on the finances of DISCOs to supply meters. It does not discharge them of the contractual obligation that they have to.
The managing director of NEMSA, Peter Enweso, said the laboratory is a major game changer for the activities of the agency. He said the Commission is now poised to change the face of the sector in terms of standards and personnel safety.
It's something that will actually ensure not just only the specifications and standards being met, ensuring that the lifespan of equipment and material that are used in the industry are actually well in line with what has been designed. Transformers are designed for it to actually work and function for well over 25-30 years. And if the oils that are used are not the right oil, and the oil actually age without you replacing them, the transformer will have a shorter lifespan.
The newly commissioned chemical and engineering laboratory is expected to help in checking standards of equipment in the sector, and it is the latest in the series of measures being put in place to enhance the performance of NEMSA and development of the power sector.
The National Housing Program, which is currently on in 34 states of the Federation, will soon be completed. The Ogun State site, according to the state project manager, will be done within 3 months. Still staying with the power sector, the Transmission Company of Nigeria has disclosed that it will continue to supply power to Kano Discos feeders affected by the Kumbotso 150 MVA transformer failure. The company disclosed this in a press statement signed by its General Public Affairs, Ndidi Umba. The company said it will continue to support the Kano Disco until the situation is resolved. The company also announced that the national grid is now better stabilized and has achieved a frequency control of between 49.8 MHz and 50.25 MHz, making it the highest level of stability ever achieved in the history of Nigeria. Join us after this break as we hit the home stretch with the housing sector and the commissioning of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Mausoleum by President Muhammadu Buhari. Stay tuned.
Dear lottery operator, you've done a remarkable job so far getting into a business that has been highly criticized for many years. You've done well to uphold your credibility and boost confidence in the business. Kudos to you. This is just to remind you of the rules of the game as prescribed by the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Gaming is not for persons under 18. Underage gaming is prohibited. Report illegal operators to the Commission, and also always remember the regulatory job of the Commission. Whatever your category, lotteries, sport betting, promos, scratch cards, games, it is the duty of the Commission to protect lottery players and the operators as well as promote transparency and accountability. Licensees are also expected to play their part, which includes remittances to the National Lottery Trust Fund. For more information, please go to natlotterycom.gov.ng. The National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Lottery, the right way.
Thanks for staying tuned. You can get in touch with us for more inquiries on the social media handles showing on your screen. And now, President Muhammadu Buhari has restated that the commitment of his administration to the infrastructure development of all parts of Nigeria. The president disclosed this when he commissioned the Nnamdi Azikiwe Mausoleum in Onitsha, Anambra State. He also promised to do more as he continues his campaign for re-election.
The 23-year-old neglected Nnamdi Azikiwe Mausoleum has been commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, who also promised to inaugurate the board to spearhead the smooth running of the facility to be at par with international mausoleums as a mark of respect for Nigeria's first president, Nnamdi Azikiwe. The president says he hopes the mausoleum, if fully put into use, will reignite many things. Take it now. Will reignite many things he shares in common with the late first Nigerian president, whose desire for true nationalistic programs stands commendable. The president says the building will be a reminder of what the late former president stood for. He adds that it will serve the purpose of promoting nationalism and patriotism in public service. He urges the people to join the present administration to build a Nigeria that the unborn generations will be proud of. The president describes the late Nnamdi Azikiwe as his role model in politics, whose desire for nationalistic gestures will forever be remembered by all Africans.
It will be a reminder to all of us of the best values that they espoused in knowledge, service, and leadership. My hope is that this building will reignite the flames of many things we share in common.
While stating some of the challenges in realizing the project at record time, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing reiterates the resolve of the present administration to complete abandoned projects that have direct impact on the lives of the common man. Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, and the Anambra State Governor also commend the federal government over the completion of the project.
Patriotism was subordinated to private interests that did not benefit the Nigerian economy. In the event side, a building that should have been completed at 2014 prices was completed at 2018 prices. This is one of the heavy prices our country has had to pay because of corruption. We are paying for yesterday's projects at today's prices.
This project, and in 3 years he has committed resources in the neighborhood of about 2 billion to get this completed. It was 10% completion before, now completed.
If the federal government of Nigeria under you declares November 16 Nnamdi Azikiwe Memorial Day, it will be a day set aside for reflection on the life and times of the great Zik and his Pan-Africanist struggles.
The family of late Zik extols the president for taking it upon himself to actualize the mausoleum that has been neglected by successive administrations. He urges the president to ensure Onitsha indigents that Onitsha indigents are included in the board to manage the facility when constituted.
The commissioning of Zik Museum and Conference Center, the historic legacies led by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and others are vital to the revitalization of the development potential in Africa.
However, the project went through several vicissitudes in the hands of successive regimes before the Buhari administration came forward. The special gratitude and deep appreciation of the people must, therefore, go to President Muhammadu Buhari for bringing this project to physical completion.
Somebody like Nnamdi Azikiwe in Nigeria, in Africa, has contributed a lot. Somebody like him.
Participants at the occasion commended the president for the honor done to Ndibo and said the people will surely reciprocate the gesture.
He was the son of Africa, one of our greatest icons. President Buhari, when he came in 2015, made a promise that he will complete the Zik Mausoleum, because each time we come on campaign, he always comes to visit the sick family. His eldest son, Chukwu Mazikiwe, was the president's very good friend. And he made a promise that he will complete it. And I'm glad today that that promise has been kept.
Has proved, has practicalized that he loves Ndigbo. Remember, he has used some of our sons as vice presidential candidates during the former time he was contesting. He has come, he has commissioned, he made sure that the place is completed, and he's moving around every room, climbing every step. Is a testimony that President Buhari loves Ndigbo. In fact, it's a symbolic day, and we love him back. We are urging Ndigbo to vote President Buhari to complete all the good work he's doing for Ndigbo. The second Niger Bridge and other infrastructural projects he has started for Ndigbo. Look at what is happening. It's a symbolic one.
The president was earlier received at the palace of Obi of Onitsha and later proceeded to Holy Trinity Cathedral, Onitsha, to continue his re-election campaign in Anambra State.
We are going to work to ensure that
That's our package for this week. We will be back next week for another interesting episode. Thanks so much for watching. Until then, continue to protect public utilities and also pay your tax. I am your regular anchor, Ajibola Onwuchekwa. Bye for now.